তব সিংহাসন পাশে গাহে প্রেমহার হয় গাথা জনগণ ঐক্য বিধায়ক জয় হে. Hail unity, hail religious diversity. The courage to make India, the world's greatest democracy, into a virtual police state whereby a single dubious complaint, both an eminent member of this House as well as one of India's most veteran journalists, is charged with sedition. The courage to try and take over every state government by hook or by crook, whether you have won the popular mandate or not. You claimed you were wedded to constructive cooperation and cooperative federalism. Instead of partnering with state governments, you try and muscle them out at every opportunity. Does the ruling party wish that its legacy be that it governed the largest democracy in the world, or that it imposed a one-party rule in India? Ask yourselves. The courage to announce a national lockdown at only 4 hours' notice, causing untold misery, countless deaths, the sight of thousands walking for hundreds of miles with no food or money. This government spent less than 2% on social transfers, in contrast to OECD countries who spent 20%, and 6% which was spent by middle-income countries. The courage, no, the brazen audacity to announce an economic rebound. India was the single worst performer among developing countries in the year 2020. Even if we believe this government's economic survey, the economy was lower by 7.7% in 2020 and will rise by 11% in 2021. So in effect, by 2022, that is over a 2-year time span, the economy will be flat, just at the 2019 GDP number. The survey proclaims that growth is the biggest poverty alleviator. Honorable members of this House, we are going to have no growth for 2 whole years. I don't understand the celebration. I come from a rural constituency and a source for migrant workers. The distress in the MSME sector is real. This rebound is one where large, strong enterprises have become stronger. It is not V-shaped, it is K-shaped. 1% of rich and successful citizens have become richer, and the pains of the MSMEs have only increased. The government had the courage to say that it gave 1,13,000 crores via the direct benefit transfer scheme, only to take the same money away from those very same people and the middle class in the way of increased cess on petrol and diesel. We are not a nation that is growing and sharing its wealth. We seem to be a nation that is only finding ways to share our poverty. The hype today is that post-budget, the Sensex jumped. In a country where only 6 crore people pay taxes, only 4.6% of the total population, how many do you think are invested in the Sensex that they should jump for joy when the Sensex jumps? The courage to use the official channels of the Ministry of External Affairs to respond to social media posts by an 18-year-old climate activist and an American pop star, where not even one single ministry has been deputed by this government to try and look out for the food, water and basic sanitation needs of the farmers and their families who have been camping at the border for almost 90 days. And finally, the courage to bring in 3 farm laws when the opposition, farmers across the country, as well as the government's oldest ally, warned it was unacceptable. I wish to remind this government that India, under Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri, committed 3 things to Sant Fateh Singh, the Akali leader. The creation of a Punjabi-speaking state, open-ended public procurement, and an assured return on agricultural produce. These farm laws threaten to snatch away 2 of these guarantees. These laws were arrived at without consensus, tabled without scrutiny, and rammed down this nation's throat with the brute force of the Treasury benches. They have firmly established this government's motto of brutality over morality. And everyone else in this country has been portrayed as a coward or a terrorist, from the farmers to the students to the old ladies of Shaheen Bagh. You say you have courage. You claim you have done so many things that no other government before you has done. Yes, that is true. In true fascist fashion, you have made every act of pettiness, of vengeance, of hate, of bigotry a part of your narrative of courage. The reason no one has done it before you is not because no one had the courage, but simply because it was not the right thing to do. Has that thought ever struck you? And India's tragedy today is not just that her government has failed her, but that her other democratic pillars, the media and the judiciary, have failed her too. Lord Hayne, the Labour peer, said in the House of Lords, What is the point of being a member of parliament, either in the Commons or in the Lords, if you don't discharge your responsibilities? And, where appropriate, use the privileges that you have in order to promote justice and liberty. So today, like a true child of Bengal, I will stand here and be courageous. Trust me, Mr. Balu, we have not lost the fighting spirit. Even though the government spin factories will later portray it as cowardice or even plagiarism, I will lay out a few home truths by using my parliamentary privilege that guards me from charges of sedition and contempt for anything I say in this House. And Mr. Law Minister, sir, if you're present on the premises, with all due respect, this time you have neither the right to shut me up nor to try and get my words expunged from the record. The sacred cow that was the judiciary is no longer sacred. It stopped being sacred the day a sitting Chief Justice of this country was accused of sexual harassment, presided over his own trial, cleared himself, and then proceeded to accept a nomination to the upper house within 3 months of retirement, replete with Z+ security cover. The judiciary stopped being sacred when it chose to squander the greatest opportunity that any bench of the highest court of this land has ever seen, to reinforce the founding principles of our democratic republic and to uphold the rights enshrined in Part 3 of our Constitution.
One second, One second, please. Please, Mo.
He cannot discuss
Please,
in the House.
Please, wait.
And Nishikant Dubey is a point of order.
The minister is on his legs. Please, 1 second, please. Yes, Minister.
352(5). 352 point of order, 352(5).
Yes, Premchandra ji. She cannot discuss
352(5).
the conduct of the Chief Justice of India.
Let the minister
Here, without giving the prior notice and approval of your chair.
Please. Please, Honorable.
Sir.
Please, Mahou Maitra ji, please be seated. Please be seated. This House is run by the rules and procedure. When a member seeks a point of order, definitely it is a right of the member. So I have to hear them, and I will pass the order, pass the rulings. Please.
352(5). A member while speaking shall not reflect upon the conduct of a person in high authority unless the discussion is based on a substantive motion drawn in proper items. चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया को हम लोग यहां डिस्कस कर रहे हैं सर. चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया, भारत के राष्ट्रपति ने उस आदमी को नॉमिनेट किया है. भारत के राष्ट्रपति के ऊपर डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं सर. और यदि इसी तरह से चलता रहा तो इस डेमोक्रेसी का बाजा बच जाएगा. इसीलिए कि उन्होंने राम मंदिर का जजमेंट.
Yes, please, Saugat Rai ji, please. Please. Saugat Rai ji, please. Please. Hey, please.
चार बार नहीं सर, हमें
Saugat Rai ji, आप
सर,
आप बोलिए ना, आप बोलिए.
That member is shouting.
Please.
Sir,
Under what rule?
honorable member under 352(5).
Oh, please.
I am going for an explanation. When the honorable member Mahua Moitra spoke, she did not refer to any person by name. She did not mention anyone. And what? Meghwal ji, aap kuch nahi samajhte, baithiye. Number 2, she referred to a person who was the Chief Justice. If that man would be Chief Justice now, no mention could be made against him excepting by way of impeachment or accepting by a substantive motion. That man is a retired Chief Justice. He is not a man in high authority, and his name has not been mentioned. Not one word of what Mahua said should be expunged. I appeal to your good sense, sir, and your fair play and justice, that don't let this lady be stifled by the minions of this ruling party.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
मैं ये कह रहा था चेयरमैन साहब, ये जो माननीय सदस्य बोल रही थी, इसने सेक्सुअल हरेसमेंट का आरोप लगाया चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया पे. ये हमारे लिए शर्म की बात नहीं है. और इस हाउस में हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं और स्वागत राय जैसे आदमी इसको डिफेंड कर रहे हैं, ये
Yes,
इतने
yes.
विद्वान आदमी इनको डिफेंड कर रहे हैं, ये तो शेमफुल एक्टिविटी है। आप चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया पे सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट का आरोप लगा रहे हैं ओपनली।
Mahbub Maitra ji, please.
It is the
one second, one
misconduct of
second.
the member.
Let me,
It is the
let
misconduct of the member.
let me pass the observation of the chair. We will go through the proceedings. If anything, it is affecting the higher authority and anything which is unparliamentary, definitely it will be looked into and it will be corrected. Please try to avoid such observations.
No, sir. Sir, it is extremely important that I not only not avoid, please, sir. It is very important that I not only not avoid them, but I bring them up because I did not accuse the honorable gentleman of sexual harassment.
Please.
Somebody else did. A trial happened which he presided over. Number one, let me put it on record. I did not. It is a matter of great shame that someone sitting in the Chief Justice of India's chair, to which he had been appointed by the President of India, was accused of such a horrible act. I did not do it. Instead, let migrants